Oh, how's my hair?
We're YouTubing, yeah, no, it's good. It's looking good. Okay, so, you may have heard me mention that we were using the on-the-road truck on a job that really should have had the off-road truck on it. And I had a little bit of dialogue with the customer. I said, what's going to happen out here if you put too thick a lift is we're going to end up tearing up, breaking an axle in the truck. And then it's not going to do you or me any good. And that's kind of what happened. No, that's exactly what happened. But anyway, so what we ended up having to do, Josh come up here and went to pull the rear out, the differential, and the axle was broke off in the locker. So you couldn't get it out. You could pull the axle out from the outside, but you couldn't. The axle was stubbed out into here, and then it was in right here, because that's where it locks up against, and you couldn't get it out. I mean, you messed with it, what'd you mess with it for a day or so?
Oh yeah, at least.
So I ended up coming up here and I said, well, there's nothing for me to do, but I took the plasma cutter and I cut the back of the banjo housing off where there's no strength. I didn't cut up in here where the meat is. I just cut the cover. And then I went in there and we got a little bit of relief, and we took a torch and we burned off the axle, and it come right out. So we cleaned up the differential, and we rigged us up a thing to use a transmission jack and be able to get it up there and get it on the guide pins and slide it up in there. So what we're going to do is I had to take this thing apart. I'm going to put it up in here, just slide it in here and tighten the bolts up, slide the axle in and gauge this. There's an adjustment up here on the top. Get it where it needs to be. Then we're going to slide the axle back out, and then I'm going to put the banjo cover back on here, and I'm going to weld it back inside and out so that it won't leak. And then we'll put the differential back in there. So here we go. Let's see if we can get it up there. We're going to jack it up and see if we can get it up there in there. All right, so.
Hold on, now you figure I gotta make sure my hat and stuff.
I gotta make sure your hat looks all right. Yeah. Okay, all right. So what we got here is you got to adjust this locker right there so that it just clears, but then also so that it locks when it goes in. And there is, it's hard to see, but there's two adjustments. Oh God, it's exciting. There's one. So you can see them jam nuts. Oh, there they go, right there. You can see them jam nuts right there. So you lock those, then it also threads on. It also threads on a piece right here, and that's what your air pushes in. So if you thread that back and forth, you move that in or out.
You twist it in and you back it off, and then you twist it out.
And so you want it to
tightens up.
You want it to just clear, but you don't want it so far that when you hit the air to it, it doesn't lock all the way up.
Right here.
And so it looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. So what we'll do is we'll take it and we'll lock the jam nuts down on it, take the differential out, and then I'll weld this banjo housing on, and then we'll put it back together. And you can see it. Well, you can't see it because of light.
Give me that light and I'll help you out there while you show them.
So you can see it moving. So if you thread it out, it locks it in, and then you bring it back. And that's you just want it to clear. But anyway, that's where we're at with that. And so Josh is gonna lock it in. You gotta flip both of them. There you go. All right. It's locked in. All right, that's good. That's good. And there it's unlocked. Do it again. And it's locked. And unlocked. All right, I'm happy with that. Banjo housing welded up all the way back around there, inside and out. Locker sucker held in there. Cleaned all the crap back out of it. And fixing to get ready to put the differential back in there. Did notice that the nut on that was loose, so we're adjusting that while we're at it too. But anyway, I would have maybe cleaned a little bit more cement out from underneath here before I did this, but anyway, it is what it is. So I'm getting ready to get this thing slid back up in there. I'm gonna finish one up. All right, so that rear's back in there, and then this one we had tore this one up earlier in the year, and I guess when we put it together, didn't get some of the bolts tighter, didn't get some silicone around them, so they were leaking a little bit. So I was gonna pull it loose and reseal it, but when I found the nuts were loose, I just figured I would try to reseal the bolts. So we're gonna fill it back up with 85-90, and it should take about 12 quarts. The back one took about 10. But I wish they would have cleaned it, and I got some cement cleaning stuff and cleaned it up a little bit before I did this. Makes it a little easier. What are you laughing at over there, asshole?
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Putting up service manuals so that your mother doesn't have a cow because they're in the house.
Just had random welding rod over here.
Random what?
Welding rod over here.
I don't know. Somebody cleaned up in here, or sort of. Anyway. Jordan, on the fender of this truck, there is a plug. If you'll look up there, how about grab it and hand it to me on the front fender?
Plug?
Mm-hmm. 3/4 inch plug. Alright, thank you. Oh, it's only 4.91 quarts. It's got a ways to go. Oh, God, it's exciting. So it's been a few hours. I'm gonna come out here in the shop and I'm gonna turn the lights on first is what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna check and see if we got any leaks. I'm hoping the answer is no. Oh, it's exciting. Oh God. Alright. And I said 85-90, it's 85-140. Alright, we try to get away from 5-gallon buckets get contaminated, so most of the fluids that I use, so 1540 in bulk, 55-gallon drums of 85-140, and 10 weight, 50 weight, John Deere High Guard, 540 synthetic, and then Torque Force MP. I try to use, and there's a bucket of some new oil. I hadn't got a 55-gallon drum of that 1000 THF. That's what the Komatsu truck takes. So this is why I got away from 5-gallon buckets. Number one, they spill. Number two, somebody comes along to get the lid, puts it on another bucket, leaves that bucket open, doesn't pop a lid back on it, and then comes back to it sometimes later. This actually happened. And they put contaminated oil in something. And so a 55-gallon drum is less likely to get contaminated than a 5-gallon bucket. So that's what we try to do, is have 55-gallon drums of the fluids that we use on caddies. So we roll them around. I put 15-foot hoses on them with them Lynx air pumps. But anyway, all right, so that's good. I've got my Got my gear oil leak stopped there. A new axle's in. And so that's a project done. We're going back to Jedburgh tomorrow to do some more reclaiming. We got a couple days because it rained so much that it was too wet to treat soil. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen.